could start over, we could start over, we could start over. Oh, for the lonely, for the ashamed, the misunderstood.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Let's get live here on Instagram. Minor consciousness. Minor consciousness. A lot of times we hear the phrase, how many times have you heard the phrase, majoring in the minors? Well, how would you say that your consciousness is majoring in? What would you say that your consciousness is majoring in this morning? Is it majoring in the minors? Is it majoring in that part of your awareness that finds fault with the small things instead of joy with the big things? Let's see if we can't shift your consciousness from minor consciousness to major consciousness. The reason that I know that minor consciousness is the reality for most people, minor consciousness, is because we allow our subconscious to run our minds most of the times. We allow ourselves to be uninformed about our own greatness. Let me say that again. We choose to be uninformed about our own greatness. We allow hedonic actions, and hedonics means you're the responsibility for your own joy. Right? Maybe you've heard of the adult vacation places like hedonism and things like that. So hedonism, hedonics is the responsibility for your own joy. So you need to have some responsibility for your own joy. Well, Mel Robbins says, nobody's coming to save you. And the reason that nobody's coming to save you is because most people are dealing in minor consciousness, and they are having challenges saving themselves. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Are you following me? Good Monday morning. Good Monday morning. So here's the reality. Minor consciousness. Do you find the things, listen carefully, how many of the things that you have been mad at, frustrated at, a little agitated about, how many of them lasted for a decade? I'm talking about the little things. I'm not talking about major things like losing somebody or having something that you wind up leaving for because of some kind of conversation or something that was done to you. What I'm speaking of is, did you get mad that somebody got the wrong order? How many of you have ever driven out of a drive-through and they gave you the wrong order? Now you could go back in and you get the right order. Yet in the moment of realizing the wrong order, you went, oh, they gave me the wrong thing. And your body shifted. You majored in the minors. How many of you have been given the wrong meal, or they cooked your meat to the wrong temperature, or your fish didn't have the blackened and it was broiled and you went, this is wrong. And you got a little agitated. Drop an A if you ever got a little bit angry and it changed your state. Do you realize that you're majoring in the minors? Because my daddy would always say, is this going to be important 6 months from now? Well, no, it probably won't be. I'll probably be pissed off about 1,000 other things between now and then. How many of you know what I'm talking about? You're majoring in the minors, and your consciousness is listen, here's how the numbers work. Now, I'm not a scientist, and I've done some studies for the last 30 years. Some of it probably right. Some of it probably influenced by my own desirable thinking that I'm cool at what I do. Here's the numbers I heard. Do you know how many bits of data are coming into our body that are being absorbed by our unconscious cells and bodies and awareness that we're not aware of? How many bits of data? Do you realize there's about 20 million bits of data coming into that beautiful body of yours? How many of you can feel a breeze on you? I have the windows open here at the ranch in my office, and the windows are open, and I can feel the breeze coming off the lake, going through my office and out the other window. I can't feel it going out the other window, but I feel it coming through this window. So right here in this area of my body, that is sensory. I can tell you that there's a breeze there. My face, I could tell you there's no breeze because the computer screen that's right here is blocking it. How many of you can feel the chair on your tuchus? How many of you might feel shoes or socks on your feet? How many of you might feel glasses on the bridge of your nose? If you become aware of it. So there's 20 million bits of data like that. Because just think about this area of my body, the torso of my body that's being hit with this nice cool lake breeze. I can feel it from this part of my body all the way down to here. Do you know how many cells are involved in that part of my body to say that the breeze is coming in and I can feel it cool across that entire part of my torso? Now, this side of my torso isn't. It feels the warmth of the room. Because when I tell people 20 million bits of data per second, it's overwhelming to many people. Now, here's the part. Here's where we major in the minors. I could be aware of the breeze coming in, and I could say, oh, that's cold, or that's going to blow my papers around, or I could find a reason to minor in this major, beautiful thing called a breeze. And now what happens is that in reality, in most people's brains, the 20 million bits of data that comes into your body through cellular and awareness, and it all's happening at a subconscious level, we become fully aware of about 20 to 40 bits of data. 40 bits of data on the outside. 20 million versus 40, you're majoring in the minors. Your conscious mind has to major in the minors. 20 million versus 40? Okay, I'm going to go fill up your bank account. I just want you to drop, don't need to type out the whole 20 million. I'm going to drop in your bank account. Drop in either 40 or 20M with the letter M. 40 for $40 or 20 million. Which would you want me to drop into your bank account? Now, here's the funny thing. You want to know the funny thing? Pay attention to this. 20 million has been dropped into your bank account. Listen carefully. This is just downloading to me. This is some good stuff. This is what happens when I major in the majors. $20 million is already in your bank account. You're just not consciously aware of it. Oh, snap. So how do we change our minor into a major? Well, when the breeze comes in, and if it blows some of my papers around, be thankful for the breeze. A very dear friend of mine, Gratitude with Danny, DANI.com. You should go. I would encourage you to go to that website, gratitudewithdanny.com, and find out about her monthly program of gratitude, because you will major in the majors when you use gratitude as your filter for what you allow into your spirit. Could you imagine if the 40 bits of data, this is the part that's just, when my mentor shared this with me and really sat me down and drilled this into me. Pay attention. When you major, you're not going to be able to, if you want to go create wealth, drop a W. I know everybody's going to drop a W, but I want you to interact with me. Drop a W if you want to go create legacy wealth, not just your wealth, legacy wealth to pass on to your kiddos. Listen, this is why I started the program Dangerous Consciousness. Listen carefully. From now until you create your legacy wealth, I really need you to focus on me for just a moment. So stop your laundry or stop doing something for just a second. Give me 60 seconds. Because if I can land this in that beautiful spirit of yours, it'll change everything. We'll start working together at a level that we've never worked together before. Listen carefully. You are not going to be able to change how much. Listen carefully. It is going to be impossible for you to add more bits of data to flow into your consciousness. Your brain can only handle about 40 bits of data per second going into your consciousness. And some of that you won't even remember. How many of you say you struggle with remembering people's names? You hear it, they just told it to you, and in 3 seconds, it's gone. I'm not here to help you remember names. I'm here to make sure that those 40 bits of data per second are at an elite level so that your struggle can instantly stop. Let that settle in for just a second. This is how powerful your awareness is. When you allow the 40 bits of data to be a major part of your life's success versus focusing on the minors, your kid has two different shoes on. Okay, great. We used to buy multiple Crocs in colors because Mason never wore the same. He always had a pair like it just back at home. He'd wear a yellow one and an orange one. Great. We're not going to choose your battles, right? How many of you have ever said that? Drop a B in the chat. I'm going to choose my battles with my kiddos. There's certain things I'm just not even going to argue over. So what if you were to choose your battles with your greatness? What if you understood finally, once and for all, how to activate your conscious mind to choose your battles, to finally elevate yourself into the vibratory state of wealth? Because you're only got 40 bits of data per second. You still have 20 million bits of data, 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 20 million bits of data every second, which is why we become overwhelmed. Now, add to that, listen carefully, add to that 20 million bits of data. And then how do we focus? What draws our attention to the 40? Emotional state. How many of us know somebody? Listen, how many of us know somebody? I'm not asking you. I'm not going to throw you under the bus. How many of us know somebody that when they see something on TV, on cable, on the internet, on YouTube, on somewhere, on social media, they get triggered? Drop a T in the chat if you know somebody who gets triggered negatively based on something they see on TV or internet. So do you realize, listen, please follow me for this. This is one of the more valuable messages that I can share with you. If they get triggered, do you realize it was one of the 40 bits of data that started the trigger and started the cascading effect? Does that make sense? It starts this cascade effect, and the cascade effect is it waterfalls. It snowballs. It keeps getting bigger. And so out of the 40, it might have triggered one, and they went, huh? And then they did the dog thing, and they heard something on social media. This person is in jail, or this person's accused, or this community said this, or this person's against that. And they went, huh? And they did the little head tilt like the dog, huh? And then now 39 bits of data are for them, and 1 bit of data is against them. But it's so emotionally charged that one bit of data starts a cascading effect and turns it from 40 into 39 into 38, and 2 are against their desired wealth and their desired wishes. The people who get triggered, drop a 1 for yes or 2 for no. The people that you know get triggered. Are these the same people who say they want wealth? Are these the same people who say they want health? Drop a 1 for yes or 2 for no. Are these the same people who get triggered, don't want to be triggered, and say they want the opposite in their life? You realize it's only 40 bits of data. And the reason that they can easily wipe out 20 bits of data and be focused on the negative, be focusing on the thing that they don't want, is because of emotions. It becomes emotionally charged. How many people, listen, how many people do you know talk about the past, talk about a past relationship that's 10 years ago? Do you realize out of the 40 bits of data that they have available each second to work on their wealth, to work on their legacy, to work on their freedom, to work on their joy, to work on their happiness, the 40 bits of data, half of them, 3/4 of them, how many of you believe 40 bits of their data, even though there's joy in their world, they're sitting in a rose garden or with orange blossoms or apple blossoms all around them? They constantly find the 40 bits of data that does not serve them. See, what I do in Dangerous Consciousness is I change the ratio through psychology, through neuroencoding, through hypnotherapy, through mental toughness, through addiction to approval, through self-talk. I give you a gauntlet of tools that allow you to put yourself through a filter that keep your 40 bits of data in the vibratory state that you choose your life to be in. And when you grasp that you have control over the 40 bits, somebody spills their coffee. Oh my gosh, you couldn't believe it. Or, well, I guess I need to go see another barista today. It's the same spilled coffee. Wallace D. Wattles said it best: change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. In the Bible, it says, on the way to. You're on the way to your destiny is made up of 40 bits of data per second. Now, you still have the 20 million bits, but what is your brain wired for? How many of you have been hurt in the past? Drop an H in the chat. I'm going to ask you, those of you listening, how many of you have been hurt in the past? See, your brain is designed. Here's the funny thing. You ready for this? Your brain is designed to keep you from being hurt. Your brain is designed to look for pain, is designed to look for things that could hurt you. Here's the two things your brain looks for. Will this kill me? Well, because of our sensitivity in the way the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, the anterior cingulate cortex, all of these parts of your brain, the radio receivers, the things that pick up information, and the radio transmissions, how many of us have ever heard the phrase that dogs can smell your fear? Well, if you're really afraid of dogs and you crapped your pants, that's why they can smell your fear. Did he just? I'm trying to break it up. I'm getting some of you stressed. I'm feeling your energies back going, his Mondays just suck. It's the vibratory state. And then if you're in fear state, you send out fear and they do something to make you more fearful. You become more fearful. And all of this sudden, so your brain looks for two things. Will it kill me, or how fast could I recognize the pattern? How many of us thought somebody was the biggest jerk till we had a conversation with them? Drop a J in the chat. I'm usually that person. I'm serious. You think they're just the biggest jerk until all of a sudden you get to hang around and you're like, oh my God, you're not the biggest a-hole I ever thought. You're out loud, you're loud, you walk into a room and you love everybody. And I just thought you were this biggest jackass and you're this biggest ego maniac. I'm usually accused of that. And I'm not saying I'm not. I will be loud when I usually come into a room, even if it's just my presence. So now your 40 million bits of data are triggered to find what's wrong instead of what's right. Your 40 bits of data are minoring in your mischief instead of majoring in your success. When is it time to have major consciousness awareness? Dangerous Consciousness is open right now. If you would like to join, it's $50. I think I haven't raised it. I know I keep saying I was going to raise it. I haven't. It's $49.90. So it's $50 a month. It's going to be open for the next 24 hours, and then it closes tomorrow morning. If you'd like to join us and you'd like to, so close to about $23,000 has been generated in incomes by the group that's in the last 6 weeks. What would happen if $5,000 of extra income showed up in your life? People who have never sold a particular piece of their equipment after 2 years sold it in the last 6 weeks, made $800 in commission. Somebody else, they were given a car, $25,000. Somebody else had the biggest deposit they've ever had in their business. If you're serious about it, if you really are, if you're tired with all of the excuses, if you're tired of all of the excuses, it's time to step in to your game. Join me in Dangerous Consciousness. I am beyond absolutely confident that in the next 4 weeks, we can generate enough significant income in your life that you will say, I've always known I could do it. That's the thing about any one of these incomes that people have created. They've always known they could do it, but their wiring had them minoring in their consciousness. It's why I call what I'm teaching you dangerous consciousness. It incorporates 5, 6 different disciplines. This isn't about learning scripts or algorithms. This is about learning self-talk. This is about rewiring you with self-talk, RCPs based specifically upon what it is that you want, called random calls of programming. It's about understanding neuroencoding when we do our one-on-one conversations and our one-on-group conversations. This is also about mental toughness. How do you have enough discipline to stay in long enough? This is about understanding what it means to write out your definite major purpose. So go to finallyconscious.com. All it is a checkout page. There's no sales pitch there, because you can go look at all of the thousands of hours of information that I've given you. That's what this is about. You get it live, you get customized, personalized mentorship, and then you have a team that helps hold you accountable. That is a true mastermind. $50 a month. I don't know where you can find that. Finallyconscious.com. I appreciate you so very much. I look forward to seeing you where? At the next event. Till then, major moments of consciousness in your life. Your day will change instantly. I promise you, instantly. Sadhguru says, choose joy, choose misery, choose consciousness, or choose a repeated pattern of your past. I love you tons. I'm your head misfit. I'll see you where? I'll see you at the next event. Till then, bye for now. All righty. And YouTube, love you tons. Appreciate you so very, 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 very much. I will see you where?